Tavis Smiley on the line with us, the host of the Tavis Smiley Show, the co-host of Smiley and West with Dr. Cornel West, the author of 16 books, including his latest, The Rich and the Rest of Us, a Poverty Manifesto. It was co-authored with Dr. Cornel West. His website, tavistalks.com. Tavis Smiley, welcome to our program.
Tom, good to be on. How are you, sir?
I am very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
I'm delighted. Thank you.
I am curious your thoughts on my take on this. It's making me crazy hearing the media repeatedly say that Obama won because of changing demographics in ways that I think very often are shorthand for race, when I believe that he won because of values. Now, you could argue that communities that have traditionally been oppressed value community more highly than those who run around and talk about the lone rugged Davy Crockett individualist kind of nonsense. But
right.
But I think this was a values election, not a demographic election. You want to argue with me or agree with me?
I'm much too bright to argue with you. I know better than that. That's not a fight I'd want to lose. But I think you're right. I would put it this way: it was a values election, aided and abetted by demographics.
Sure.
And I'm not so sure that that I'd like them getting away either with this notion of changing demographics. I mean, clearly the demographics are changing, but this was an election where the president got his base out. And so again, I don't want to give short shrift to the Obama campaign and the work they did to actually turn their base out. They were very scientific, as you know, and I think they're going to be books written about this election in terms of how the Obama campaign, which was run brilliantly 4 years ago, this time took it to a whole nother level in terms of scientifically using the data. They knew exactly where their voters were. They knew how to get them. They knew how to localize, for lack of a better word, the message to those voters, and they won. I mean, but of course, when you lose, there are going to be all kinds of excuses made. At the end of the day, and you know this because I've heard you say it before, in the most multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic America ever, the GOP is in trouble long term, say nothing of the short term, but they cannot figure out how to expand their base.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. By the way, I want to mention that you and Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! And Dr. Cornel West are doing a special town hall meeting. It's tonight at the Thorne Auditorium, Northwestern Law School's downtown campus. For those of you in the Chicago area listening to us on WCPT or however you may be listening in the Chicago area, 375 East Chicago Avenue. It's 7 to 9 p.m. It's titled Poverty, Power, and the Public Airwaves. And you're going to be joining the WCPT program, or family, rather, with your program on 2 p.m. on Sundays. Do I have that right?
Exactly. We're delighted to be on CPT with Smiley and West and my other program, the Tavis Smiley Show. So it's great to be on the station. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with Dr. West and Amy Goodman tonight. This is an opportunity for us to do a little bit of a post-election analysis from a progressive point of view, but also to talk about the media and the responsibility we have. And I love how you started our conversation by talking about, the spin that's being given. And so every now and then there's got to be a space for some greater truth. I don't want to suggest that the media doesn't tell the truth, but there's got to be a greater truth. And having a chance to sit alongside Dr. West and Amy tonight is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, and that's, once again, 7 o'clock tonight at the downtown campus of the Northwestern Law School, the Thorne Auditorium, 375 East Chicago Avenue. And I'm sure that the information about this is on the WCPT website and at tavistalks.com as well. You can check it out. What do you think, in your mind, Tavis Smiley, what is the biggest carry-home message of this election?
I think that vision matters, and you have to be able to sell your vision. There's a favorite Bible verse of mine that says, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Somebody has to have a vision, a path forward, and be able to sell that. And the president, as you well know, I certainly have taken him to task many times over these last 4 years, and in some regards, been labeled, persona non grata in my own African-American community.
Ouch.
For trying to hold him accountable, and more broadly, hold him more accountable to progressive causes. It's been fascinating for me over the last 48 hours or so now to see so many progressives and others, including front-page stories in the New York Times about how the president now is going to be held accountable, how people now are going to push him.
As if we hadn't up to this point.
And make him stick to those promises. Now, I've been saying that for the last 5 years, that great presidents aren't born. Great presidents are made. They have to be pushed into their greatness, so that there is no Abraham Lincoln without Frederick Douglass pushing him. There is no FDR without Eleanor Roosevelt and A. Philip Randolph pushing him. There is no LBJ without MLK pushing him. Left to their own devices, too many presidents end up being garden variety politicians as opposed to statesmen. And Barack Obama, if he doesn't get pushed, will end up being much more transactional than transformational. So people, I think, are saying now, certainly on the left, that we want action, not accommodation. The good news is that he won. The bad news is he's got a line wrapped around the White House now for people who are expecting him to deliver on the things that he promised.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, and this is why, on election day or the day after yesterday, I came out and said, I opened the show by saying, now the work begins. Now the real work begins. I mean, voting. People think that democracy is all about voting, and voting is an important part of it. And undoing the voter suppression and fixing this problem of our privatized voting machines and privatized voting system, which is an insanity in and of itself. All that stuff needs to be done. But really, there is a series of larger issues here that we have to be looking at, and they're about where are we going to go as a nation.
No, that's the ultimate question. The ultimate question is, and I think this is the question, although he didn't phrase it quite this way, what voters came away with, I think, was a clear answer to the question, what kind of nation do we want to be?
Yes.
What kind of nation do we want to be? What kind of people do we want to be? The demos has something to say about that. And I just hope that those persons who listen to your fine program do understand that you're right, that the real work does begin now, that democracy ain't easy, and that, again, presidents have to be pushed in this next term. The president, if he wants to leave the kind of legacy that we can be proud of, is going to have to be aggressive and progressive and, again, draw a line in the sand, fight for the things that matter to him. And most importantly, and I'll close on this note, he's got to take a risk, Tom. You can't become a transformational president if you're not going to take a risk. He cannot play it safe.
Absolutely right. And we will see next week how this all plays out. Tavis Smiley. Check it out, tavistalks.com. If you're in the Chicago area, check it out tonight. Thank you.